Hello and welcome back to the Odds Now YouTube channel for your daily rundown of the action at the PDC World Championship 2026 with me, Matt Hill. And this is the last round of round one fixtures, unfortunately. It was a sad moment for me. I love the early rounds of the World Championship. It's been a bit up and down in terms of the match betting. Did have a profitable day on YouTube on Thursday. First three bets actually won, but nothing after that, but still a profit. Could have been even better. On a personal note, obviously couldn't put it up on YouTube. I did mention it yesterday. I backed Tatsunami to win a set against Van Gerwen I backed over 3.5 sets at 12-1 a couple of weeks before the tournament started, and I also had the correct score, 3-1 at 28. So it was a good night for me on a personal note. So yeah, definitely the Asian Tour boys have dug me out a little bit in this opening round. So very grateful for that. But yeah, 8 games to go anyway. Then we're on to round 2. Hopefully the PDC haven't even announced the schedule yet for round 2. Any of the schedule really, and given it starts on Saturday, it's not ideal from a pre-planning betting perspective, but I expect nothing less for the PDC, to be honest. Anyway, so we've got 8 round games to whiz through here, starting with Kevin Doets versus Matt Dennant. And as you can see, Doets is roughly a 4-7 favourite for this. Dennant out at 6-4 best price. I fancy Doets to win this. To be honest, pre-tournament I backed Doets to win this 3-0 at 4-1, and that 4-1 is still there. So, well, is it still there? Because it's Unibet, so it's probably not still there, actually. I think we can confidently say the 15-4 with Quinn is still there, 17-5, 19-5 with Boyle. So there we go. That's still there. 4-1. We could deal with 19-5. I'm also going to back Kevin Doets here on the handicap. I just think Kevin Doets is a really, really underrated player, still improving all the time, the Dutchman. And Sean, I like you for the World Championship. I mean, he had 2 cracking games in 2 years with Michael Smith, didn't he? The first one came out on the wrong side of, and then he avenged that last year to dump Smith out. And yeah, he just seems to really enjoy the World Championship stage. And he's also dealt with some tricky games where he's been the favourite as well. Beat Noah Lin van Leuven, which was a banana skin for him, and he held himself together well. I just generally like Doets' demeanour. I think he doesn't get involved in mind games or any carry on. He just gets up, throws his darts, and when he gets towards his top level, he's a really, really dangerous player, whoever he's playing. Here it's Matt Dennant, who unfortunately looks like he's going to lose his tour card. I like Matt Dennant. He was when he was a young lad, he was a big prospect in the game. I think a lot of people thought he was going to really kick on. He's been on and off the tour, never really managed to cement himself on the tour, and I feel like he's one of these players that when he's on the Pro Tour, he's maybe not quite consistent enough to establish himself. Then when he drops off, you're kind of looking at him thinking, well, he could get a tour card. He's a good player. He'll have been disappointed with how these 2 years have gone. He's not really done anywhere near enough to really do himself justice. Done well to qualify for this, and it's a big opportunity for him. I just think he comes up against a quality operator here in Doets. So I'm happy to back Doets here on the handicap. -1.5 sets, 5-4. There is money coming for this, but still available with various outlets, Star, Priced Up, Betfred, etc. And 3-0 or 3-1 covered there. So I'm going to have 1.5 points on the Doets -1.5 sets, and 0.5 point on the 3-0 at 4-1 as well. That's with Betfred, actually, not Unibet. So yeah, that is best price. 4-1 with Betfred on Kevin Doets to win 3-0. That's a 0.5 point stake. On to the second game of the afternoon then. And anyone who watched our outright World Championship preview, I said to Adam, if I had to have one bet on the first round, it would be Jesus Salate to beat Ryan Meikle. And I took 5-1 when it opened up, and that didn't last that long. And he's kind of held firm at 10-3 ever since. Now it looks like there's some late money for Salate. I really like this guy, what I've seen of him. We got a really good look for him at the World Cup with Argentina. I was very pro-Argentina at the World Cup because of the numbers that Salate had been posting over on the CDLC tour. So basically they play the South Americans, play with the Caribbean representatives, and there's only one World Championship qualifying spot, which of course last year was taken by Rashad Sweetin from the Bahamas. And this year on the CLDC, it was just Sweetin and Salate battling for that spot. And Salate actually topped the table fairly comfortably in the end. I think he won 4 of the 8 events, made the final in 2 others, had the beating of Sweetin. By and large, plenty of mid to high 80s, low 90s averages. Obviously, there's some dross in there as well because you're playing first round games against pub players. And we saw something similar with Beau Greaves in the women's series where round 1, she quite often averaged like 62 or something in a 4-0 win. And then come the final, she's up in it to 90, 95. And it was similar to Salate, albeit on a less extreme level. When he had to play good darts, he did. And he's he's got a really solid throw. I really like his action. Very little to it, really. And therefore very little that can go wrong with it, to be honest. I think he's just going to be a very solid scorer of tons, ton 40s. He's going to put Ryan Meikle bang under pressure. And Meikle's someone I don't mind taking on at Ali Pally, to be honest. I mean, he's been on the tour for 8 or 9 years now. And, credit to him for staying on for that long, because he has had to win his 2-card back once, I think. But he's quite a slow, methodical player. I don't think that'll bother Salate. He's not exactly rapid fire himself. He's a bit quicker than Meikle, I'd say. And, Meikle, I think he's only had 3 wins on the World Championship stage, which, given he's been going 8, 9 years, is not a great amount. And 2 of them are against female players in Fallon Sherrick and Lisa Ashton. So not a bad man to be taken on, I don't think. And I think Salate is just dangerous. Not a lot of data on him, so people probably haven't instantly gone oh yeah, this guy's a bet. But I think he'll give a very good showing of himself, to be honest. So you could skin this however you want it, to be honest. You could back him on the handicaps. Plus 1.5, i.e. to win 2 sets is 5-4. I prefer just a straight win bet here. Like I say, I've took a bigger price myself, but I still make him a bet at 3-1. I think he'll give you a good run for your money there, Salate. So, yeah, very interesting matches for me. Here's your Salate, 2-point win bet at 3-1. Okay, on to game 3 of the afternoon, which is another one I've got a pre-tournament bet in, but the price hasn't really moved on this one. I backed Leonard at 5-2, and he's actually drifted a teeny bit. 13-5 available with Sporting Index. 2-1 bet 365, which is kind of more where I have it. I actually would probably go Gates. Maybe not 6-4, but yeah, 13-8 kind of region. I think this could be a real tight match. This Mickey Mansell, he always deserves respect. He's a very easy player to just write off as a middle of the road kind of player. But yes, he's slow. He's not the best to watch, but he's very, very efficient. Mickey Mansell. It's a lot of ton 40s. Keeps you honest. Can be an excellent doubler on his day. I mean, he had a cracking game with Brendan Dolan, his good friend, last year, was it, or the year before? They knocked 7 bells out of each other for 5 sets. I think they both averaged 97, 98. And, he's not a fashionable player, man, so it probably doesn't get talked about. But he does have that game in him. So I do pay him a lot of respect. But Leonard Gates here is just an enigma, isn't he? He has come alive at the World Championship on a couple of occasions now and at the Grand Slam and the likes. Clearly enjoys the big stage, very comfortable on there, the American. You worry about his counting, but that's just part of the package with Gates, isn't it? I think I'd be very surprised if he doesn't win at least a set here, and I could see it. I could see them both getting embroiled and this being a bit of a back and forth affair. So again, just keeping it simple, I'm just going to back Gates. 2 points at 13-5 is absolutely fine. If Mansell wins it, I won't be that disappointed. I just think at the current odds, you have to take Gates. I think it's tighter than those lines suggest, and happy to be with the underdog here again. Final game of the afternoon looks like a non-event. I mean, we could have said that about David Munoz versus Mike DeDecker. I didn't actually say that for anyone that watched yesterday's video. I watched it back and I actually quite annoyed I didn't have a bet on it, because I think I said, would you back DeDecker to win 3-0 at 1-6? Absolutely not. Couldn't go anywhere near it. Did I have a penny on Munoz? Did I heck? But that was a brilliant watch, wasn't it? Regardless, what a brilliant watch. Do I see something similar here? No, to be honest. Gemma Hayter making a World Championship debut. Fantastic for her to qualify. I mean, Gemma's a relatively new face at the top end of the women's series. Obviously, you're not going to get near Beau Greaves, but she wasn't that far behind Fallon Sherrick and Noelin van Leuven. She's competitive. She's made finals on the women's series. She's been thrown in at the deep end here, though, hasn't she? And I know she made a joke of it on social media when the draw came out. But getting Josh Rock here is an absolute nightmare for her. I just think that there's too much of a gap for this to go down the similar path to Munoz DeDecker. I think that Rock's scoring, he's just going to be a dart or two ahead of her in every leg, I'm afraid. Rock can go a bit dodgy on the doubles, but in my head, when I'm playing this game out, even with crowd involvement and the likes, I just think Rock's got too much scoring power. He's going to have too much time at the back end of legs, and even if he does mess around a little bit on his doubles, he's probably going to be back again. I mean, from Gemma's perspective, she's probably realistic about it. She probably just wants to win a leg or two, doesn't she? Yeah, if she can. And, I hope she does that. Would I be getting involved in this match from a betting perspective? No. I mean, Unibet, it's pulling through as 8-13 for the 3-0, but really, what are we getting here? 1-7 with bet 365, 2-9 is about the best you're going to find on the 3-0. Could you cobble around with the bet builder to try and make something attractive? Yes, but then you're probably gambling on how many 180s Rock's going to hit and stuff. I mean, that falls on Rock to hit the most 180s is probably more appealing than backhand to win 3-0, to be honest. But I think this is just you'd be forcing it to get a bet on here, really. So it's a no bet from me, and I'm expecting Rock to win this 3-0 hope Gemma Hayter can nick a leg, really. On to the evening session then. It's the first game where I've got a bet. Willie O'Connor versus Krzysztof Kciuk. I'm going to back O'Connor to win this 3-0. Obviously backed this pre-tournament at just over 2-1. And it has been backed in. It's being backed in as we speak. Now, the best price still available is 7-4 with Sky Bet, Paddy Power and Betfair Sportsbook. And I still make that a bet, to be honest. Willie O'Connor's had a great year. For anyone that doesn't follow darts all year round on the floor, he's been ultra consistent. Got his reward with the Pro Tour final right at the end of the season, which he ended up on the wrong side of. But he's just, he's been averaging in the mid-90s now for what feels like about 6 months with real consistency. Scalped a few big names as well on the floor. Been pretty solid on the TV without pulling up trees. I think he's going to play Michael van Gerwen in round 2 if he wins this game. I think he'd give Van Gerwen a game. And I said that before Van Gerwen had his troubles, obviously, against Tatsunami this evening. But, I won't worry about that from a Van Gerwen perspective. That's just a nervy round 1 game, typical nerves. I do think that he'll have too much for O'Connor in round 2, but I think O'Connor will give a good showing of himself. And I think he'll start off on the right note here against Krzysztof Kciuk, who many people will remember he was a Pro Tour card holder until fairly recently. I think he lost his card a couple of years ago. He's not managed to get it back. He's a steady operator, the pole. I mean, he has got levels in him. Him and Ratajski actually hold the world record pairs average. I think they average 118 or something together in the World Cup in a group stage game a few years ago. So he has got that quality, but I just think not consistent enough. And I think Willie O'Connor's a cut above him, to be honest. So I think there's value in the 3-0 here. I'm just going to have a 2-point win bet for the purposes of YouTube on Willie O'Connor to win 3-0, 7-4 with Sky Bet and Paddy Power. I think keep it simple. And on a personal note, I've got that riding on a double with Rids 3-0, which obviously came in today. So let's hope Willie can get the job done there. The other matches of the evening, I don't have sort of bets standing out to me, but we'll just whiz through them quickly. I mean, this is an absolute belter, isn't it? Daryl Gurney versus Beau Greaves. I have been kind of very, I'm probably head of the Beau Greaves fan club, to be honest, as people in my Telegram service would tell you. I've backed Greaves I backed her to win her group at the Grand Slam. Very unlucky there, beat Springer and lost 5-4 to Anderson and Van Gerwen. I've got a few quid on Beau Greaves to win the World Championship at 500 from the start of the year. Nothing silly, but I've got a lot of respect for the girl and the talent she has. Do I think she's going to win the World Championship? No, but I think the market has caught up now and knows that she's a proper player. However, this is a horrible draw for her against Daryl Gurney. I think Gurney's going to be bang up for it. And I wonder whether Gurney should be favourite here, really. I think a few people probably thinking the same thing. Plenty of money coming for him now. He's been solid at 6-5 all the way through. Looks like they might go off 10-11 each way, doesn't it, the way this market's going? Who knows? I'll watch that market with interest. I think they should go off 10-11 each way. So, in principle, I'm saying that Gurney's a bet here, and he maybe is. He maybe is, to be honest, at 6-5. But I'm not going to take that. What I did like is Gurney 180s. Obviously, the Beau Greaves 180s line is short because she absolutely loves the maximum. But I think Gurney, although he doesn't traditionally hammer the maximums in, I just think he'd be bang up for this game. And I think it'll go 4 or 5 sets. And there's plenty of time for Daryl Gurney to get going on the maximums. And as you can see, over 3.5 Daryl Gurney maximums is odds against with a few suppliers. I think that's a bet. I think that's probably the better way to play it than backing Gurney to win the game. Just back him to over 3.5 180s because he's probably going to need to score well to beat Beau Greaves. And like I say, I'm expecting him to be up for it. I'm expecting over 3.5 sets, possibly over 4.5. So I think this 11-10, I think he can get that covered. So we'll have a 2-point bet on Daryl Gurney, most 180s against Beau Greaves. But in terms of predicting the game, it's definitely one to just sit back and watch and enjoy, I think. Okay, just the 2 games left then. No bets for me in either of these, to be honest. Nathan Aspinall versus Lawrence Ilagan. I will just whiz through them quickly. Aspinall is a very, very skinny favourite here, 128, with good reason. He's had a fantastic year, Nathan. I think he's, if he wasn't drawn in this quarter with Luke Humphries, I think a lot more people would have been putting him up outright. But he's in that quarter with Humphries, Van Veen, etc. And he's a runner in that quarter, don't get me wrong. But, he's going to have to overcome a lot of tough tasks if he's going to win the World Championship. He's got Lawrence Ilagan here, who can be a tricky customer. But I think in more recent years, Ilagan he's not quite captured the magic that he did when he first burst onto the scene. He's more than capable of taking a set here, which is even money. But I'm not confident on that. I won't be surprised if it's 3-0 or 3-1. So that's the reason why it's a no bet from me. I mean, Ilagan, he's always entertaining to watch. I'm sure Aspinall will probably be laughing at some of his antics. But I do think Aspinall have just too much quality for him. I don't really see an upset here. And the last game is Keane Barry versus Australia's Tim Pusey, the Pusey Magnet. He's not been allowed to use his nickname, unfortunately, by the PDC. Same fate as Owen the Master Bates. Will he suffer the same fate that Bates suffered today against Ryan Joyce? I'm not so sure, A lot of money coming for Keane Barry. Pusey looked quite good in the Australian Premier League, what I caught of him. Disappointing on finals night, obviously, but he's shown himself to be a handy little player. Equipped himself quite well on the World Series as well. So Keane Barry is a tough man to trust. He's definitely played better in the last few months, Keane Barry. So I think he's a worthy favourite. But I think they're quite brave people steaming into him at like 2-5 because he has had some stinks on that World Championship stake. Perfectly displayed last year when he was fantastic in round one. And then when he played Going Price, I think he was 8% on his doubles. So it can go off the boil, Barry. And Pusey's not a forlorn hope. I don't think I'd want to back him. But I would not be at all surprised if it becomes a tight game. But it is a no-bet game for me to round it off. Okay, so round one done in the books this time tomorrow. It'll be all done and all eyes onto the last 64. Don't worry, the videos will still keep coming for those who are watching along. Just to run through my best bets then. Kevin Doets, I'm going to back him minus 1.5 sets. I'll just reconfirm that price for you on the handicap, which is 5-4. So 5-4 on minus 1.5 sets for Kevin Doets. And I'll have 1.5 points on that, and then we'll have half a point on the 3-0 correct score at 4-1. So the 5-4 is widely available, and the 4-1 is with Betfred. So, sorry, I just wanted to check that. 4-1 with Betfred for Doets 3-0. That's a half-point stake. And then here's a Salate, nice and easy, backing him at 3-1 to beat Ryan Meikle. Just clear my bet slip here. That's available in various places as well. Mainly the Canby Books, Star Sports, Priced Up, etc. Going to back Leonard Gates to beat Mickey Mansell. He's the best price 13-5 with Sporting Index. 2-point win there. No bet on Josh Rock, Gemma Hayter. I'm going to have a little go on 3-0 Willie O'Connor against Krzysztof Kciuk, which is now... Sorry, guys. 7-4 best price. Yes, 7-4 with Sky Bet, Paddy Power and Betfair. No bet in Aspinall, Ilagan or Barry Pusey, but I am just going to back the Daryl Gurney over 3.5, 180s. That is 11-10 with various outlets, including Ladbrokes and Coral. So that wraps up my best bets for Friday at the PDC World Championship. I will be back to preview the first 8 round 2 games. We still don't know quite what they are because the PDC hasn't finalised the schedule. But rest assured, I'll be back tomorrow night to whiz through all the games and give you my thoughts. Let me know what you're backing in the comments. Please do give the video a thumb up if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't hit subscribe, please do. We're nearly at 900 subscribers, which is great given we started the tournament close to 800. So, great to have you guys on board. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. I'll be back again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.